All right, I had to miss the top of the first. Did see all of the plays though, so it was a Mason Wynn single followed by a Herrera walk and a Burleson single up the middle, but Herrera tried to stretch it first to third, got thrown out at third, and then Contreras and Arenado went down with a strikeout for Contreras and just a regular, I believe it was a ground out from Arenado. So no, it was a fly out to center field. And then it was a walk to Frelick. So that is what you missed. Now it's 2-2 on Jackson Chourio, the two-hitter for the Brewers, with a man on and nobody out. So Frelick on first. 2-2 pitch from Pallante to Chourio. Inside, fouled back, still 2-2. Pallante has been doing very well against the left-handed hitters, but struggled more against the righties, and this is a big at-bat in the game. Chourio just fouled back the previous pitch. It's 2-2 on him, with nobody out in the first with a one-run lead, thanks to Alec Burleson. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Fouled back, 96 at the top of the zone, still 2-2. Cardinals have Nootbaar out of the lineup today after a long period of struggling. And Jordan Walker is back, so Donovan's still out as well. Pedro Pages still behind the plate. It is Wynn, Herrera, Burleson, Contreras, Arenado, Gorman, Walker, Pages, and Scott. They will check on Frelick. He is staying put at first. 2-2. So the outfield from left to right is Burleson in left, Scott in center, and Walker in right. 2-2 pitch, swing and a miss, strikeout of Chourio, but Frelick steals second. Gorman is trying to say that Frelick was off the base, looking for a review, but the ump is claiming that Gorman blocked the base or something. So Frelick might be granted second base. Let's see. The hand came in. He was safe. Ended up coming off the base. And his hand was just grabbing Gorman's leg. So I'm confused why the ump was so emphatic about keeping him safe there, as that's a pretty normal way to stand if you are Gorman, but can't challenge it once he makes that ruling. So Frelick on second base. One man out. Contreras takes ball one below the zone. It's 1-0. It is William Contreras still behind the plate. The exact same lineup as yesterday for the Brewers. Across the board. Here's the 1-0 pitch from Pallante. In the dirt with the slider, 2-0. Pitch to Contreras, now with a runner in scoring position. He is low and away with the slider, 3-0. The Cubs lead the Pirates 2-1 over in Chicago. Runner on second with one out. Here's the 3-0 pitch to Contreras. Right down the middle for a strike, 3-1. So Pallante trying to make up for a 3-0 count here. It is Christian Yelich waiting on deck. Here's the 3-1 to Contreras. Inside, chopper back to the mound. Pallante makes the throw. Nice catch by Wilson Contreras at first. And there's two away. So Frelick moves over to third, and it'll be Christian Yelich with a man on third and two outs. Cardinals infield has Pages behind the plate, Wynn at short, Gorman at second, Contreras at first, and Arenado at third. As usual, with Ivan Herrera playing DH, at least usual now that Donovan's out of the lineup. As Pallante puts one at 97 at the bottom of the zone, 0-1. Donovan will be back very soon, and we'll get an update on Nootbaar once we face a right-handed pitcher. We'll see if he can get right back into the lineup. Here's the 0-1 to Yelich. Missed downstairs with the knuckle curve, 1-1. Pallante, the fourth best pitcher against left-handed hitters in baseball last year. Here's the 1-1 pitch. In there for a strike with a slider on the outside corner, 1-2. So we'll see if Pallante can protect this 1-0 lead with 2 outs, 1-2 count on Yelich. Here's the pitch. Puts it in the dirt with the curveball, 2-2. Pallante at 21 pitches in this first inning. Quintana through 19. So they're on the same trajectory, though Quintana gave up a run and could have given up another if Herrera was a little more patient on the base paths. But either way, here's the 2-2 pitch to Yelich. Swing and a miss on a fastball inside. Down goes Yelich, and Pallante gets out of it. It is 1-0 St. Louis after 1. So it'll be Gorman, Walker, and Pages. So let's go straight over to Quintana. He's been pretty good so far this year. 1.32 whip, 2.66 ERA. Pretty good peripheral stats. Very low barrel rate, good ground ball rate. Walk rate a little bit high. And the balls are being hit somewhat hard with a low strikeout rate. So that's good for the Cardinals. So he must be forcing him into the ground. That's his strategy. So all you have to do is get the ball a little bit higher with the launch angle. You can take advantage of that high exit velocity. And that's what the Cardinals have done so far. So let's get a versus batter from Quintana. See how he's done against all of our guys in the past. Here we go. Wynn is 1 for 5. Contreras is 1 for 16. Arenado 2 for 24. Gorman 0 for 3. Walker 1 for 4. Pages 1 for 2. So not a good history. Across the board, our lineup has not been good against Quintana. The best one is Pages, and he's just 1 for 2. So that's not great. We'll see if they can turn it around here. Jordan Walker is finally back in the lineup. Nootbaar should be available as a pinch hitter if you need him. So that'll be exciting late in the game, maybe. Still all dressed for the game, wearing his sunglasses. It's good to see. Hopefully he gets an at-bat. Here's the pitch to Gorman. Swing and a miss. On a slurve outside, it's 0-1. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Low and away in the dirt, 1-1. Let's see. Maybe if a late game right-handed pitcher is in the game, he could pinch hit for Pages if you really need it. I don't know who else would get pinch hit for by Nootbaar. The 1-1 is pulled foul, 1-2. I think they'll definitely want Jordan Walker to keep getting swings. as he started to look really good right before the injury. So if he can continue to pick it up, the lineup could get really deep really quickly. Gorman's looked pretty good, but you do want to see Nootbaar back in the lineup soon. Try to get him back up to speed. Here's the 1-2 pitch to Gorman. Above the zone, 2-2. So nobody on, nobody out. 2-2 count. Here is the 2-2 pitch to Nolan Gorman. Hanging slurve ball, pulled foul, still 2-2. That one looked like something Gorman could have crushed. He just waited on it a little longer. Gorman hitting .217 with a .680 OPS so far this year. Here's the 2-2 pitch from Quintana. Fly ball into left field. Looks playable, and it is not. Just out of the reach of Collins, over by the netting, and it's still 2-2. Collins made the call for it, but it just tailed off into the tarp. Luckily for the Cardinals. So Gorman digs back in. Here's the 26th pitch of the game from Quintana, the 2-2 pitch to Gorman. Another slurve at 78, fouled back, still 2-2. Gorman seems to have a good eye for those slower pitches. It is when people tail a slider off the same tunnel as a fastball that he seems to struggle. Here's the 2-2 pitch now to Gorman. Slurve outside, pulled foul again, still 2-2. That one was a lot closer to what would get him. Looks like he really had to labor to get that one foul, but he did get over to it. So it's still 2-2. Another 2-2 pitch to Gorman. Up and in, popped up, left side, and caught by Durbin as he ran into the side wall. Looks like he's okay. That's out number 1. So the Cardinals still holding on to that 1-run lead. It's 1-0 St. Louis after that first inning, where Mason Wynn got a hit. Herrera walked. Burleson hit a single, but Herrera was thrown out at third, and Contreras struck out before an Arenado fly out to center. It's going to bring up Jordan Walker. First at-bat in a long while for him. He was struggling over the course of the year at .215 average, but he's back now, and he cues one up the other way for a base hit. So that's a single for Walker. Maybe the break is what he needed. He was also doing pretty well right before the injury, so maybe he's just continuing that evolution. So there's a base hit for Walker. Walker on first. That'll bring up Pedro Pajes. That came on a changeup at 90 miles an hour the other way. Might have been a sinker. I don't know if he has the velocity anymore, but Walker put the end of the bat on it, lofted it over to right field for an easy base hit. So 1 man on, 1 man out. Here's the first pitch to Pajes. That's a sinker at 89, so that answers my question. It was a sinker to Walker. It's 0-1 now on Pajes. Quintana has thrown 30 pitches so far today. Here's the 0-1. Low and in, cued up the other way for a base hit. Walker will head over to second and hold up there. So runners at first and second with 1 out, and that'll bring up Victor Scott. So Pajes moves to 2 for 3 in his career against Quintana. He took that one inside out. It was just a hard thrown ball off the glove of Hoskins after the hard liner from Pajes. So 2 men on, 1 man out. Victor Scott at the plate. He's hitting .245 with a .657 OPS this year. Nice hole in the center of the infield if he can drive one there. First pitch from Quintana. Up and in, pulled foul, 0-1. I'm glad Scott didn't try to bunt there. I feel like they've used him to bunt in this spot a few times. And that only works well when the third baseman is back. Here's the 0-1 pitch to Scott. He squares around and pulls it back on a slurve way outside, 1-1. So they are thinking about a bunt. I wonder if Scott has been practicing or if he likes to bunt. Quintana has been one of the best pitchers in baseball, 10th in opposing average with runners in scoring position. The 1-1 is a slurve right down the middle for a strike, 1-2. That was a pitch you would think Scott could definitely barrel up, but he did not swing at it that time, so it's 1-2. 1-2 pitch. Outside with the sinker, way outside, 2-2. A lot of space for Victor Scott here. One man out, two men on. The 2-2 pitch from Quintana. Instead, he steps off and takes a look at second base. Walker not going anywhere, with Pajes on first. Here's the 2-2 to Victor Scott. Up and in, pulled, foul. Could have been extra bases, but just tailed foul. Still 2-2. Good play by the Brewers worker. He was able to get the ball to the crowd. Here's the 2-2 pitch now, once again to Victor Scott. That one low and away with the curveball, and the count is full. Mason Wynn is on deck. He's the leadoff hitter today. We'll see if Victor Scott can pass the torch. Here's the 3-2 pitch. Outside, called strike 3. That's a tough call for Scott. It should have been ball 4. Ump rings him up anyway, and there's 2 outs with 2 men on, and that'll bring up Mason Wynn. Slurve, a fantastic take by Scott. He really saw the ball well, but the umpire didn't. And at the end of the day, that's what matters. So a really tough series for the Cardinals against this umpiring crew, as Marmol has some words for the ump. Did not get tossed. So we'll see if Mason Wynn can take advantage of this opportunity. 2 men on, 2 outs. Here's the pitch. Missed downstairs with the changeup, 1-0. Could be a massive difference in the game to call that one a strike. It was a close pitch, but it was outside on Scott. So we'll see if Wynn can make the difference. The 1-0 pitch. Nice sinker at the top of the zone, 1-1. Wynn is already 1 for 1 today. Had a single back in the first, came around to score. He has a chance to do some more damage here. Here's the 1-1. Low and in, pulled foul, 1-2 now. Wynn hitting .265 this year with a .726 OPS. Chance to pick up his first RBI of the game. and his first RBI in the leadoff spot since last season. The 1-2 pitch. Top of the zone, missed. It's 2-2. Brewers plan Winn to pull. There's some room on that right side. Let's see what the 2-2 pitch has for us. Winn reaches out and pokes it into center field. Should be an easy play for Churio, and he makes the grab. So we'll go to the bottom of the second. Cardinals feel a little bit robbed there, but still lead by a run. It's 1-0. So we'll take a look at Andre Pallante so far this year. Marmol's still having some words with the ump. I wouldn't be surprised if he's ejected during this break. He's been a below average starter. 1.38 whip, 4.75 ERA. One of the best ground ball rates in baseball, though. 64.4%. And what hurts right now is you have Gorman playing second, not Donovan. So some of that range is gone on those grounders, but you still got to attack the zone, especially when your strikeout rate is 15.1%, which is pretty dang low. So you just got to put it in the zone and keep that walk rate low because it's at 7.7%. It was much lower when he was a more effective pitcher earlier in the year. So he needs to keep attacking hitters, and the defense will support him. Who is due up? Let's see. Hoskins, Collins, Turang. Collins has been average, 695. Good launch angle. Walks a lot, but not great contact numbers. So I guess he's going to be hitting lefty today anyway, which is good for Pallante. All right, Marmol definitely having some words with the umpire. He is still in the game as Pallante missed out of the zone. It's 1-0. So no ejection so far. The 1-0 pitch, check swing foul ball, 1-1. That was a slider right down the middle. Hoskins hitting .249 with a 764 OPS. 10 home runs so far in the year. The 1-1 pitch. Low and in, fouled back, 1-2. Could be the second straight game that the Cardinals feel like they had some runs taken from them or given to the opponent by the umpiring crew, but you got to just lock in when you're playing the game. They could easily win this game either way, as Hoskins strikes out on a check swing. Down he goes, one man out, nobody on for Isaac Collins. So that will bring up Bryce Turang. He gets the start today at second base. First pitch is in there for a strike with the fastball. Low and in, it's 0-1. Turang hitting .262 this year, a 687. Oh, wait a minute. Collins is hitting that way. Turang's on deck. I accidentally skipped Collins. Geez, this has been a rough game from my perspective, but we'll lock back in. It's 1-1, 1 out. Isaac Collins at the plate. Fastball caught the outside part of the plate, 1-2. The 1-2 pitch, swing and a miss on a slider below the zone. And now I can call it the same way. That, with 2 outs and nobody on, will bring up Bryce Turang. He is hitting .262 with a .687 OPS. That was a beautiful slider to get Collins low and in the dirt, but got the chase. The Cubs did finish their victory at home against Pittsburgh 2-1. As Pallante misses inside to Turang, it's 1-0. Turang, one of the best stolen base guys in baseball, also has 4 home runs this year. The 1-0, swing and a miss on a slider below the zone, 1-1. The 1-1 pitch to Turang. Inside, 2-1. Two-one pitch from Pallante. Up and away, fouled back, 2-2. So Pallante will be throwing his 35th pitch of the game here. Yet to allow a hit, has walked 1 hitter. And that was Frelick to start the game. Here's the 2-2 pitch to Turang. Swing and a miss on a curveball. That's another strikeout for Pallante. I believe he just struck out the side. He is now at 5 strikeouts on 6 outs, and it'll be Herrera, Burleson, and Contreras. Alrighty. Here we go. Ivan Herrera due up first. It's going to be Jose Quintana coming back out. He's given up 4 hits already in the game. Probably didn't even deserve one of the strikeouts that got called. Definitely didn't. And he only has 2 in 2 innings, so Cardinals look to add to their 1-0 lead here in the top of the 3rd. Here we go. First pitch change up to Herrera. Fouled back, it's 0-1. Marmol still in the game. No ejection yet. Let's see if Herrera can get some runs going for the Cardinals. Here's the 0-1. Outside with the curveball, 1-1. Herrera's been great this year, a .306 average. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Downstairs with the curveball, 2-1. Herrera also has a .905 OPS and 7 home runs. Best hitter in the lineup for the Cardinals today, so far this year. Two-one pitch. Down the middle, pulled for a base hit. That one through that left-hand side between third base and short. One man on with nobody outs in the third. That was just a hanging slurve right down the middle, pulled through that hole. He did put it on the ground, but when you hit it hard in the right spot, it's always a hit. So that's going to bring up Alec Burleson in a lefty-lefty matchup. First pitch to Burleson. In there for a strike with the sinker at 90 miles an hour outside, 0-1. So Herrera on first, nobody out. Burleson at the plate. He's 1 for 1 with an RBI already today. The 0-1 pitch. Outside with the slurve, 1-1. The 1-1 pitch is going to catch the outside part of the plate once again with that 90 mile an hour sinker, 1-2. So it's the second time he's thrown that pitch. With Herrera on first. Here's the 1-2. Goes outside with the sinker again. That time it's fouled off by Burleson. Good job staying alive. Still 1-2. One-two pitch again. Fouled back and off the mask of Contreras. Still 1-2. Ivan Herrera, not really a big threat to steal, so not a big threat there. Here's the 1-2 to Burleson. Chopped over the head of Quintana over to the base. It's going to be a double play. Nice job staying on the base by the shortstop Ortiz. He gets a tailor-made double play up the middle. 2 outs, nobody on, and that's going to bring up Wilson Contreras. Contreras is 0 for 1 with a strikeout so far. Here's the pitch to Contreras. Outside with 77. That was the curveball, 1-0. So the Cardinals just have 1 run on 5 hits. Could have been a little bit more with some better luck. The 1-0 pitch. Fouled back, 1-1. It's cool seeing the little interactions between Wilson and William, the Contreras brothers. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Check swing, yes he did. He went around, it's 1-2. So Wilson Contreras already 0 for 1 with a strikeout. Now it's 1-2 on him here in the third with nobody on. Has not had a good career against Quintana. Here's the 1-2 pitch now in the third. Upstairs, 2-2. Might get a chance to change that here. A good opportunity to get a good pitch to hit. Here's the 2-2 pitch now to Wilson Contreras. In there with the sinker at the top of the zone. That's strike 3. Contreras having a word with the ump, even though that was definitely in the zone. And we go to the bottom of the third. It is 1-0 Cardinals. So it's going to be Durbin, Ortiz, and Frelick. All right, Pallante going back to work. All he's allowed so far is a walk to Frelick. He'll face him again this inning, but first he'll face Durbin and Ortiz. Here's the first pitch to Durbin. In there for a strike at 95. At the bottom of the zone, it's 0-1. The 0-1 pitch, ground ball. Easy play for Arenado. He makes the throw, and the catch is made by Contreras before Durbin runs into him for out number 1. So 1 out, nobody on. Let's see what is going on with Durbin there. I don't know what Durbin was doing. He ran into Contreras. Throws his helmet into the dugout. Contreras did not do anything wrong. Durbin just kind of tackled him. So whatever, 1 out, nobody on. Here comes Joey Ortiz. First pitch. Low and away with the slider, 1-0. The 1-0 pitch is in there for a strike at the bottom of the zone, 1-1. '40th pitch of the game for Pallante. The 1-1 to Ortiz is just outside with the fastball, 2-1. Ortiz has a .509 OPS this year, 69 games played with a .187 average. Here's the 2-1 pitch. Chopped over the right-hand side. Easy play by Gorman. And he makes it. Good catch by Contreras. 2 outs. So Pallante only allows 1 base runner his first time through the lineup. Let's see if he can get this third out of the third inning. It'll be Sal Frelick, the only guy to reach for the Brewers today. First pitch to Frelick is not given to Pallante, even though that one was in the zone. It's 1-0. Second pitch to Sal Frelick is in there for a strike with the fastball, 1-1. 1-1 pitch now to Sal Frelick. He's in there for a strike with a slider at the top of the zone, 1-2. Frelick having a word with the ump, even though that is a strike. The 1-2 pitch with 2 outs here in the third. Chopped over to first base. Contreras is there. Fakes the toss because no one was there and steps on first. And we go to the 4th inning. It's still 1-0 St. Louis. So Contreras having a very strange inning there. Had to make a tough play in all 3 batters, but he got it done. We go to the 4th. Walker will get to hit again during this inning. Arenado with a -2 batting run value this year. Very low strikeout rate. Can still hit the home run ball when you need him to. Hopefully he picks up the rest of it. His outs above average has fallen to just 1, which is insane. It's as low as I've ever seen it. I don't know why they're showing Cubs highlights. Okay, whatever. It's going to be Gorman as well and Walker. So, I mean, we can check on Jordan Walker. We haven't seen his numbers in a long while. Wasn't going too well. The bat speed's still really fast. But he was picking it up a lot the week before he got injured, so I'm just happy to see him back in the order. He seems to be climbing out of this rut, so that could be very, very exciting if he gets going. Starts to turn this thing around. Here we go. Quintana now about to face Arenado. Arenado only has 2 hits against him in his career, but they are both homers. First pitch now to Nolan. He is outside 1-0. Last time up, he hit a fly ball to center field, which was caught by Churio. Here's the 1-0. Pulled for another base hit. So there's the 3rd hit against Quintana for Arenado. First hit of the day today, and the Cardinals have their leadoff man on again. Arenado on first. Nobody out. Quintana up above 60 pitches without an out recorded in the 4th. And that is going to bring up Nolan Gorman. Gorman is 0 for 1 today. Another lefty-lefty matchup for him. Here's the first pitch. Squares around, lays a bunt down that third base line, but it is foul. 0-1. Don't mind the bunt strategy here. If Gorman can lay down a bunt. But now that you're not catching him off guard, maybe you just buy yourself a little bit more space to hit the ball hard. Let's see if they change their defensive alignment. Third baseman might be a little bit closer, but I don't know if they did. So that didn't help out Gorman as much as we would have hoped. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Outside 1-1. Attempting a bunt probably puts the catcher on high alert. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Outside 2-1. So if you can't get the bunt down on a surprise bunt, then you probably should swing the bat after that when you have Gorman's speed, as he's not that fast. Here's the 2-1 pitch. Right down the middle, but fouled off. That was 90. Outside part of the plate, 2-2. Gorman fouled out back in the second inning. OPS sits at 675 for the year. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Fouled back, still 2-2. Seems like the sunlight is messing with Gorman's eyes. He's blinking it out of him. Trying to lock back in here. 2-2 pitch. Instead, they check on Arenado, who is not going anywhere at first. It is Arenado on first with nobody out here in the fourth. 2-2 count on the second baseman, Nolan Gorman. Here's the 2-2. Outside 3-2. That was a 90-mile-an-hour sinker. And the count is full. The 3-2 pitch. Low and away, and that's ball four. A great take by Gorman. Good eye the entire at-bat. And that will put runners at first and second. Both of the Nolans reach base for Jordan Walker. Walker is 1 for 1. He was able to stick the end of the bat out for a base hit the other way last time up. And now he has 2 men on with nobody out in the fourth. Big chance to do some damage. First pitch from Quintana is a changeup in the dirt, 1-0. Walker staring down Quintana, the 1-0 pitch. He is in the dirt again with the changeup, 2-0. You wonder if he'll see one now, or if he'll already be aggressive. This is pitch number 70 of the game for Quintana. 2-0 pitch with nobody out in the fourth. Pulled over to third base. Tough play. They're going to miss the throw. It sails into the outfield. 1 run's going to come in to score. And Walker cruises into second with an error. So 2-0 St. Louis with runners at second and third and nobody out in the fourth. Durbin threw that one just a little bit too high for the second baseman, which is Turang. And Turang did not stick his glove high enough to catch it. It did hit off his glove, so Turang could have definitely jumped and caught that ball, but they wouldn't have been able to get that force out. So now it's a really tough spot for Quintana. That's going to bring up Pedro Pajes with runners at second and third and nobody out. Cardinals already lead 2-0. Pedro Pajes hitting .219 so far this year with a .626 OPS. Been a good defensive catcher his whole career, and the infield is in here, so any hard hit ball could easily be a base hit. First pitch now to Pajes is a curveball perfectly placed on the outside corner, 0-1. Quintana trying to somehow get out of this. Cardinals trying to keep the offense churning. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Outside with the curveball, 1-1. Pajes already has a hit today. He's 1 for 1. Looking to add to it here. The 1-1 pitch. He is upstairs 2-1. Two one pitch. Outside, fouled off, 2-2. Last time Pajas was up, he took an inside pitch and went the other way with it. Now Quintana's pitching him outside, trying to avoid the same mistake. With runners at second and third. Quintana's at pitch number 75 of the game, with no outs recorded in the fourth. And the Cardinals looking to blow it open and score these last couple of runs. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Pajas fouls it back and will do it again. That was a sinker about a foot out of the zone, but he was able to reach out and make contact. Two-two pitch to Pajas once again. Swing and a miss. A changeup below the zone. Down goes Pajas. And there's one out with runners on second and third. Now it's for Victor Scott. It's a great changeup. Got him to chase. We'll see now if Victor Scott can put one into the outfield, driving a couple of runs. The infield is still in, so they're risking that run from second to prevent that run from third from scoring. Here's the pitch to Scott. He squares around and takes the slurve outside by pulling back the bunt attempt. It's 1-0. I would not want to bunt here with the infield in, but a good bunt would probably score this run. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Right down the middle, driven the other way for a base hit. That one's going to get all the way out to left field. Collins throws it in. 2 runs will come in to score, and it's 4-0 St. Louis on a 2 RBI single from Victor Scott. Great piece of hitting. The square around on the previous pitch, bringing the infield even further in, and then he lofts one out to left. It was 89 right down the middle. Good swing from Scott. And it's 4-0 Cardinals in the fourth. So we'll see if the Cardinals think about stealing with Scott. Here's the first pitch to win. Right down the middle with 89. It's 0-1. Scott staying put as the changeup misses outside. It's 1-1. One aspect of this might be that you don't want to give the Brewers any momentum with Scott on first. But if you can steal second, it just adds to the momentum. So here's the 1-1. Misses outside with the changeup, 2-1. Obviously, with William Contreras behind the plate, you usually don't want to try to steal. But if Scott finds a way to get a jump on the lefty, I wouldn't mind that. Quintana checks on Scott right there. Still 2-1. That's the first disengagement. Wynn's been pretty good today. He's 1 for 2. Here's the 2-1 pitch. Scott goes. Wynn grounds it over to third. They're going to have to go to first, so a good hit and run strategy by the Cardinals there. Moves Scott over to second base, and that will bring up Ivan Herrera, who's reached base both times so far today. He is 1 for 1 with a walk. This inning started off with Arenado, now it's Herrera. A lot of the order has hit. Here's the pitch to Herrera. Swing and a miss. 77 miles an hour on the outside part of the plate. It's 0-1. Quintana has thrown 83 pitches, 25 in the inning, and he threw 24 back in the second inning. Here's the 0-1 now to Ivan Herrera. Outside with the changeup, 1-1. The Brewers are playing Herrera to pull. Big hole on that right side of the field. The 1-1 pitch. Top of the zone, popped up. Should be playable in right field, and it will be. Sal Frelick makes the catch, and we go to the bottom of the fourth, but it's 4-0 St. Louis after Victor Scott delivered a 2-run base hit to close out this inning. So Pallante is going to go back to work against Chourio, Contreras, and Yelich. Alrighty. Game is back. Here we go. Jackson Chourio, the first hitter for the Brewers here in the fourth. Brewers still looking for their first hit as a curveball catches the inside part of the plate. It's 0-1. Good pitch from Pallante. He's been pretty efficient so far. Here's the 0-1 to Chourio. Fouled back, 0-2. In 3 innings of work, Pallante already has 5 strikeouts today. Did not have any strikeouts in that 3rd inning, though. All of those plays made at first by Contreras. Here's the 0-2 pitch. Driven the other way. That looks like it'll be their first hit, and it will. It's going to get all the way to the wall. Walker's going to have to pick it up. Make a strong throw out to second. But Chourio is flying, and he's going to get to third. It is a triple for Jackson Chourio. So the first hit of the game for the Brewers is a triple. They might be one of the only teams in baseball to have no hits for 3 innings and then finally get one, and it's a triple. But Chourio is going to start this inning out on third with nobody out, and that'll bring up William Contreras. So this one is far from over. Here's the first pitch to Contreras. Inside, fouled back off the umpire. It's 0-1. So in case the umps weren't having a bad enough series, they got hit in the face there. So hopefully he's okay and can still see. Here's the 0-1 to Contreras. Low and away, fouled off, 0-2. See if Pallante can get a strikeout here. Try to prevent that run from scoring. Here's the 0-2 to William Contreras. Puts it way in the dirt with the knuckle curve. Still 0-2. Sorry, 1-2 now. All right, here's the 1-2 pitch now to Contreras. Popped up. And into the seats. Still 1-2. Contreras is 3 for 7 with 2 sac flies and 8 RBIs in 7 at-bats, with a runner on third and fewer than 2 outs. Another 1-2 pitch from Pallante to Contreras. Swing and a miss on a fastball right down the middle. Down goes Contreras. That's another strikeout, the 6th of the game for Pallante. And that will bring up Christian Yelich. Contreras snaps his bat in frustration. Christian Yelich is 0 for 1 today. Takes a pitch outside, 1-0. He struck out his last time up. Pallante trying to prevent this run from scoring. Yelich hasn't been great in situations like this at scoring the run, but he did it yesterday after Chourio got a good call. Swing and a miss on a slider at the bottom of the zone, 1-1. Yelich probably didn't deserve to drive in the run yesterday, but tough to know, as that one didn't get to be challenged, as the challenge had already been used. The 1-1 pitch, just outside with the knuckle curve, 2-1. Two-one pitch, upstairs, 3-1. The 3-1 pitch from Pallante. It's a strike, but Chourio actually just sneaked in under the tag as that ball got past Pajes and the run scores. So it's 3-2 now on Yelich. 4-1 Brewers after Chourio scored. Let's see what happened. It just came out of the glove of Pajes. He wasn't aware. Chourio with some heads-up base running, and he's in there for sure. Swing and a miss. Pallante delivered the 3-2 pitch with the slider at the bottom of the zone, and Yelich swung right over it. Down goes Yelich for the second time today. Second strikeout. 7th of the day for Pallante, and that'll bring up Rhys Hoskins. So the Cardinals lead the Brewers 4-1 here in the 4th. Here's the first pitch to Hoskins. Pallante up over 60 pitches, and he hits Hoskins in the hands with that one. So Hoskins will reach on a hit by pitch. 1 man on with 2 outs, and that will bring up Isaac Collins. I mean, it looks like it hit the knob, man. But I guess it also hit the hand. I don't know what the rule is with that. Probably hit the hand first. So whatever, Hoskins is on first. Let's see what Isaac Collins has in store for us. First pitch from Pallante to Collins. In there for a strike, it's 0-1. Here's the 0-1 pitch. It's in the dirt, 1-1. One pitch. Inside, pulled foul. It is 1-2. The 1-2 pitch now to Collins. Pulled foul. Still 1-2. Good at bat from Collins so far. He is 0 for 1 with a strikeout today. So we'll see if Pallante can figure it out with this next pitch and get his 8th of the game. Collins hitting .233 this season. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Inside, pulled in the air to right field. Playable for Gorman. He makes a nice running catch. And we go to the 5th. It is 4-1 St. Louis. Burleson, Contreras, and Arenado. Alrighty, so Burleson, who's been picking up his numbers a lot recently, is due up first. Pretty low strikeout rate. Squaring up the ball. When is Walker getting his next at bat? He's going to be 5th this inning, so probably won't hit, but decent chance to reach the plate this inning. Walker's looked a lot better. Let's see. We could check out Gorman. Is the strikeout rate still going down? I think it is. The walk rate's still coming up as well. 29.1. I mean, that is the lowest of his career. 11.9% walk rate is pretty dang good. The only other time it was above average, I think, was 2022. Now, he walked a lot in 2023 as well. Okay. So we like to see some similarities between now and 2023. Expected slug is a little bit higher up. Average exit velo is still pretty low. It was never crazy high. The barrel rate was the high thing. And that's above average, so Gorman's starting to look a little bit more like the guy we like to see. All right, the game is back. It'll be Contreras. Sorry. It's going to be Burleson, then Contreras. So here we go. Alec Burleson at the plate. First pitch inside, 1-0. Contreras was the guy we didn't get to take a look at. It's going to be Burleson, Contreras, Arenado, and Gorman. Quintana at 85 pitches. They're still leaving him in the game. It's 1-0 now on Burleson. Cardinals looking to add to a 4-1 lead. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Swing and a miss on a slurve in the dirt. It's 1-1. Burleson had an RBI single back in the first. It was up the middle. That was the play where Herrera tried to take an extra base and was thrown out at third. After review. The 1-1 from Quintana to Burleson. Inside, pulled foul, 1-2. That was a good swing from Burleson, just way out in front of it. The 1-2 pitch from Quintana. He is way outside with the slurve, 2-2. Burleson hitting .298 this year. A couple more hits could put him to 300. 2-2 pitch. Low and away with the slurve, fouled back, still 2-2. Also has 5 home runs so far on the year. Two-two pitch. Fouled away again. Great at bat from Burleson. Trying to take out what is left of Quintana here in the 5th. He is just 9 pitches away from 100 at 91 right now. This might be his last hitter. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Ground ball the other way. Easy play at short for Ortiz, and he'll make the play. So 1 out in the 5th. That'll bring up Wilson Contreras. You expect him to have to face Quintana, as he has a pretty bad history against Quintana. He's also 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts today, so Quintana will probably be expected to finish the inning, as long as the pitch count stays reasonable. First pitch is outside, 1-0. Tried to throw the changeup. Missed it a few inches outside. The 1-0 pitch. Up and in, and it's going to hit Contreras, so Contreras will be on first with 1 out. There's going to be a warning. Warning issued to Quintana as that one went way up and in. And Hoskins was still mad about getting hit in the hand, which is a little bit of a strange interaction because getting hit in the hand is like it's something you can miss to hit. You can miss inside and just accidentally hit the hand, and that's what happened. So Marmol getting a confirmation that both teams are getting warnings for this. And I believe that's the case. So a player could easily be ejected if he hits a hitter now going forward, especially if it's up near the head or neck area. And the Cardinals have a base runner. So Contreras is on first. Nolan Arenado due up next. Quintana at 94 pitches. Arenado is 1 for 2 with a run scored today. Is yet to strike out in this one. Does have 2 career home runs against Quintana. Still some discussion going on with Marmol and the umps, but Arenado has dug in, so here we go. First pitch to Arenado. It is low with the curveball, 1-0. If Arenado reaches, this could be the last hitter of the day for Quintana, with Nolan Gorman waiting on deck. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Another curveball outside, missed again, it's 2-0. Quintana trying to give himself some energy with his legs. We'll see if that helps him out. He's hopping up and down on the mound. All right. 2-0 pitch now to Arenado. Fastball caught the outside corner. 2-1. Contreras on first, 1 man out. Here's the 2-1 pitch in the 5th. In the dirt, 3-1 on Arenado. Quintana trying to settle in as he approaches 100 pitches. Arenado trying to add to the Cardinal lead. Here's the 3-1. Outside ball 4, and Arenado reaches on a 5-pitch walk. 2 men on with 1 out, and that's going to bring up Nolan Gorman as Quintana has reached the century mark, and the Brewers head coach has signaled over to Quintana that he gets 1 more hitter. So Gorman will be the last guy with 2 men on and 1 out. Here's the pitch to Nolan Gorman. In there for a strike with the sinker, 0-1. Gorman is 0 for 1 with a walk today. He did come around to score. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Right down the middle, driven in the air to center field. That one is crushed, and it is long gone. A 3-run homer for Nolan Gorman puts the Cardinals up 7-1. Probably should have taken Quintana out of the game. Cardinals with a 6-run lead on a 433-foot homer to center field for Nolan Gorman. What a blast. It was just an 89-mile-an-hour sinker right down the middle. Gorman put the barrel on it and turned on it, and that looked like that 2023 swing from Gorman. There was no doubt about that one. So that will do it for Quintana, as the Cardinals take a 6-run lead, and Jordan Walker will face their relief pitcher. They're not going to give me who that is. So I'll just try to figure it out. Here we go. So Brewers bullpen. They've already used, let's see. I mean, they're way, way behind. You'd think it'll just be Grant Anderson or DL Hall. So that's going to be my prediction, is just Grant Anderson. They pulled him up from AAA today. He's a right-handed pitcher. If not that, it'll be DL Hall. So we can look at both of their stats. Here's Anderson. He is below average. 3.86 ERA, 1.35 whip. Good whiff rate, very high walk rate. So they probably won't use him for too many innings here. And then DL Hall. He is a long reliever. Does he have a low walk rate? He does not. He also has a high walk rate. So I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do to try to get through a bunch of innings. They are going to go with Grant Anderson, though. So that makes sense. Straight out of the minor leagues. You're losing. Seems to be the general trend. So we'll leave him up as he gets settled into the game. Pretty good on the average exit velo. Gets some whiffs and some strikeouts. Pretty low barrel rate. I mean, the stats aren't terrible. Just a high whip due to that high walk rate. And teams do hit pretty well against him as far as batting average and runs scored go. So that's going to bring up Jordan Walker. 7-1 lead for the Cardinals. Here's the first pitch to Walker. Missed way outside with the sweeper. 1-0. So Anderson is one of those submarine-looking pitchers. I don't know if this is good or bad for Walker. Here's the 1-0. Swing and a miss with the sinker. It's 1-1. Looks like it's going to be bad for Walker. He was well below that pitch with his swing. The 1-1. He is outside with the sweeper. 2-1. Two-one pitch now to Walker. Swing and a miss on a sweeper outside. It's 2-2. Two-two. Outside 3-2. So Walker has worked a full count. He is 1 for 2 with a single. Doesn't seem to be swinging super accurately against these submarine style pitches, but we'll see. Here's the 3-2. Up and in, fouled back. Good job to stay alive by Walker. Still 3-2. If he can draw a walk, it would be Pedro Pajes with one man on. Let's see. Here's the 3-2 pitch to Walker. It is outside, ball 4. So Pajes will get to hit with a man on and 1 out in the 5th. Pajes is 1 for 2 today. Does have a strikeout in the game, but also had a nice inside out hit to right field. First pitch to Pajes is in there for a strike at the bottom of the zone, but he didn't get the call. It's 1-0. The 1-0 pitch now to Pajes. He is right down the middle for a strike with the sweeper, 1-1. The 1-1 pitch now to Pedro Pajes is outside, 2-1. One man on, 1 out. The 2-1 missed low at the sinker. It's 3-1 on Pajes. Victor Scott is waiting on deck. The 3-1 pitch from Anderson. He is right down the middle with the sinker, 3-2. Everybody in the Cardinals lineup has a hit today except for Contreras. But Contreras has scored a run in the game today after he was hit by a pitch. So everybody's reached. Here's the 3-2 to Pajes. Hold foul, still 3-2. All right, the second full count pitch to Pajes. Swing and a miss on a sinker inside. He foul tipped that one, but it ended up in the hands of Contreras. 2 outs. And that will bring up Victor Scott with Jordan Walker on first base. Might think about trying to steal with Walker here. First pitch to Scott. Swing and a miss. 0-1. That was a fastball up and away. The 0-1 pitch is up and away, 1-1. Victor Scott is 1 for 2 today. Did have a 2-run single back in the 4th. That was last inning. Here's the 1-1. Inside, 2-1. The 2-1 pitch, right down the middle, swing and a miss. It's 2-2. When guys throw submarine, a lot of swings go right under their pitches. You're seeing that with Victor Scott. You saw it a little bit with Jordan Walker. Here's the 2-2. Swing and a miss with the fastball at the top of the zone. Down goes Scott. And we go to the bottom of the 5th, but the Cardinals gained 3 more runs on a monster shot from Nolan Gorman. They lead 7-1. So now we have a massive lead. Pallante should be expected to go a couple more innings, right? 66 pitches, yeah. You can get him through 6. Go to probably the good members of the bullpen at this point, because they haven't gotten use in 6 games, so try to protect the lead for sure. So that's what I'm expecting us to do from here. Turang's been pretty good this year, above average in the batting value. Great sprint speed, above average as a fielder. Just barely, but he's 25 years old, so really a lot of potential there. He's increased his OPS every single year. 50 stolen bases last year, 254 average. The on base was pretty low at 316, which could be better. This year it's at 345. That's where that value comes in. Doesn't slug a whole lot, but everything else, fantastic. You have Durbin and Ortiz. Neither of them are hitting too well. Durbin doesn't strike out, which is a good thing. And then Ortiz is just having an awful year. Second percentile in batting value, 508 OPS. Doesn't strike out too much, but doesn't walk either. And the contact numbers are not great. So here we go. Pallante, first pitch strike to Turang with the sinker. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Curveball didn't get the call, up and away. It's 1-1. The 1-1 pitch to Bryce Turang. Swing and a miss on a slider low and away, 1-2. Turang is 0 for 1 with a strikeout today. This is just his second at-bat. Here's the 1-2 pitch from Pallante. Inside, pulled through for a base hit. So the Brewers have a base runner in the 5th. Turang, a guy who can steal a lot of bases. Now would definitely be a time to send him, with Pallante up above 70 pitches now. So that's going to bring up Caleb Durbin. He's not having a very good year. 605 OPS, 208 average. Here's the pitch. Nice fastball low and away, perfectly placed in the corner. It's 0-1. One man on, nobody out. The 0-1 pitch to Durbin is in the dirt, gets through Pajes, so Turang doesn't have to steal. He'll end up on second with nobody out. That one's a play you'd expect Pajes to make. It went in and out of the glove and ended up through his legs. So Turang's speed is on second with nobody out. Cardinals still have a 6-run lead to work with, so just focus on the hitter. Here's the 1-1. Way upstairs with the sinker, it's 2-1. So we'll see if Pallante can hone it back in here. The 2-1 pitch to Durbin. Check swing. They don't get the call. It was a strike at the bottom of the zone, but didn't get the call. It's 3-1. Durbin is 0 for 1 with a ground out today. It was a pretty good pitch, but sometimes the umpire gets caught up in checking if the guy swung. Here is the 3-1. Perfectly placed up and away. Doesn't get the call once again. That's a lot of strikes not getting the call. And Durbin reaches on a walk that shouldn't have been. 2 men on with nobody out for Joey Ortiz. If I'm Marmol, I'd be all over the ump after that, because can't let a team back in the game. As Ortiz drops a bunt over to third, Arenado makes the play. And that'll put runners on second and third with 1 out in the 5th. So the Brewers trying to manufacture a couple of runs and get themselves back in the game in the 5th. That will bring up Sal Frelick at the top of their order. Frelick is 0 for 1, but did reach on a walk to start the game today. That was back in the 1st. Here is the pitch. Curveball in there for a strike at 75 at the top of the zone. 0-1. The 0-1 pitch to Frelick. Right down the middle, driven the other way for a base hit. 2 runs are going to come in to score. Burleson's going to have to throw it to second. And Frelick is in with a double. It is 7-3. Cardinals now in the 5th. So after Durbin reaches on what should not have been ball 4, he immediately comes around to score after a bunt from Ortiz. And a double from Frelick. That's going to bring up Jackson Chourio. Chourio is 1 for 2. Does have a strikeout today. So if there was any question whether the good members of the Cardinal bullpen will be pitching later today, that should have answered it. Helsley likely to get into the game later today. Here's the pitch to Jackson Chourio. It is low, 1-0. Frelick stands on second base. There's 1 out in the 5th. Pallante about to throw his 80th pitch of the game after a very rough 5th inning so far. The 1-0 to Chourio. Up and in, fouled back, 1-1. Chourio did hit a triple back in the 4th inning. That was the first hit of the game for the Brewers. The 1-1 pitch. Swing and a miss. A curveball below the zone there. It's 1-2. Here's the 1-2 from Pallante. Chourio goes down and gets it, drives it into the gap in left center. Burleson tries to get him at second, and he didn't try to advance. So it's going to be a base hit for Chourio. Another run's going to come in to score, and it is a 3-run game once again, 7-4. So the Brewers are showing some fight, with 1 out and 1 man on now in the 5th. Cardinals never give you a win without a little bit of nerves. Marmol out of the dugout. That's going to be it for Andre Pallante. So they're going to pull him early and bring in Kyle Leahy to try to protect this lead. They're going to go to the good members of the bullpen real early in this one. It's going to start with William Contreras. I'll leave Leahy's numbers so far for the year up for you guys. I'm going to take a quick break and grab a drink. 7 pitching run value. Great average exit velocity against, 80th percentile on that stat at 87.9. Pretty good fastball velo. The strikeout rate is pretty low. Walk rate has made its way up over the course of the year. Still a good ground ball rate, but a 2.48 ERA, 1.13 whip. It's a little higher than where he started this season. So let's see if he can bring that stuff back down. I'll be right back. Alrighty. So Kyle Leahy in the game. Miles Michaelis will be starting tomorrow. Ideally pitching to even the series. We'll have to see. Kyle Leahy in the game right now with Chourio on first and William Contreras at the plate. First pitch, fouled back, 89-mile-an-hour slider right down the middle. It's 0-1. Leahy at a 2.48 ERA with a 1.13 whip so far this year. Here's the 0-1 pitch to Contreras. Way upstairs, 1-1. That was a sweeper. Contreras has been really good with runners in scoring position. Luckily for the Cardinals, this runner's on first. Here's the 1-1 to Contreras. Outside, 2-1. One thing William has done better than his brother Wilson this year is draw some walks and avoid striking out. Both of those stats are better in the favor of William. Here's the 2-1 from Leahy. Up and in, fouled back, 2-2. Leahy gets a lot of ground balls, so this would be a great opportunity for him to get 2 outs here. The 2-2 pitch to Contreras. Up and in, popped up. Playable on the infield. It's going to be called by Contreras, and he'll catch his brother's pop-up. 2 outs. 1 man on for Yelich. Yelich is 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts today. Struggling to do very much in this game, but a run did score on his second strikeout as there was a pass ball. First pitch, up in the zone, driven the other way, deep to left field. Burleson ranging over. He's actually going to make the catch right at the wall for out number 3. So we go to the 6th. It is 7-4 Cardinals after 5. Grant Anderson was in the game. This game's a little bit closer now. It'll be Wynn, Herrera, and Burleson. I think they'll probably stick with Anderson against Wynn and Herrera. And maybe make a move. Anderson's a righty. Not too much going on in his favor. He does have that submarine style, which probably won't work very well against Burleson. It's also a righty-lefty in that matchup, so I think he gets the 2 hitters, and then they'll make a move. The lefty would probably be Zastrin, whatever his name is, Rob Zastrin. As he hasn't pitched in a long while, and it would be lefty-lefty between him and Burleson, so they could save Ashby, who got a save a couple days ago. I guess let me refresh this and get yesterday's game in there. There you go. So, yeah, these 3 guys pitched yesterday. So Zastrisny would make sense against Burleson, and they stick with Anderson here. That's what I would do. Could also go to DL Hall against Burleson, as neither of those guys have pitched in a while. I guess we're still between innings, so let's grab the stats for Zastrisny, just in case. Yeah, he's been really, really good, so it'd make a lot of sense to pitch him against Burleson. Over the last 2 years, he's thrown about 16 innings, about a 1.1 ERA. Obviously, a way bigger sample back in 2023, where he was much worse, but he's been good when he's pitched in the last couple of years. Anderson's still in the game. Win at the plate now. It's 1-1. Takes a sweeper outside there. All right, here's the 1-1 pitch to Win. Right down the middle with the sweeper, swing and a miss. It's 1-2. Win is 1 for 3 today. Did have a single back in the first. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Outside, no he didn't. 2-2. 2-2 pitch. Chopped the other way. Tough play at second base. They're going to get Win by a step. Good play at second there by Turang. So 1 out, nobody on. That'll bring up Ivan Herrera. Good hustle by Win on that chopper, but Turang was just playing in too good of a position there. First pitch to Herrera is up and away for a ball, 1-0. Ironically, if Herrera is able to reach, that would tell me they probably wouldn't go to a lefty against Burleson, as here's the 1-0 pitch. Caught the outside part of the plate, 1-1. because you probably don't want a lefty to face Contreras Arenado, who hit back-to-back after Burleson, but if there's 2 outs, you can go lefty-lefty. The 1-1, right down the middle, fouled back, 1-2 on Herrera. Herrera is ready. The 1-2 pitch, swing and a miss. A fastball right at the top of the zone. The sidearm style is getting a lot of righties to swing under it for the Cardinals. 2 outs, nobody on. And since he's pitching well, I guess they'll stick with him to face Alec Burleson. I do expect Burleson to be able to hit Anderson a lot better. I also think Arenado likes to hit against this style, so I wouldn't have stuck with him here, but Burleson pops one foul. It's 0-1. I can see why they're doing it. Trying to save the rest of the bullpen, as they are down by 3, and Anderson seems to be pitching well. Here's the 0-1. Pulled for a base hit. There you go. Alec Burleson got right around that one. Easily drove it to right field. 1 man on with 2 outs, and that will bring up Wilson Contreras. Burleson stayed on top of that fastball. That's what you have to do when the pitch is rising. And he smoked it out to right field. It was up and in. Burleson's swing was a pretty obvious match to try to hit a guy like Anderson, but Contreras might struggle with it a little bit more. Here's the first pitch to Wilson Contreras. Outside, 1-0. Contreras is 0 for 2 today, the only Cardinal without a hit so far in this one. The 1-0 pitch. Outside, fouled off. 1-1. Arenado does like pitchers like this because it provides him that torque for his home run ball when the pitch is rising. So Contreras just has to find a way to reach here. The 1-1 pitch. He reaches out and drives this one out to center, but is playable for Churio, and he makes the catch. So we'll go to the bottom of the 6th. It's still 7-4, St. Louis. Good inning from Grant Anderson. All right, so, Leahy only threw 6 pitches. You already know Marmol's going to leave him in the game. It's going to be Hoskins, Collins, and Turang, so we'll just leave Leahy's numbers up, because he'll definitely be back out there. Good average exit velocity against, good ground ball rate. Just got to keep attacking the zone. I think Leahy's the perfect guy to pitch against these contact hitters like Turang and Isaac Collins and Durbin. Hoskins might be a little scarier because you don't have that strikeout pitch against him, so home run ball could be possible there. But Leahy likes to keep it on the ground. And then you have Collins and Turang, guys that will hit the ball into the ground for you, so Leahy's ground ball rate will come in handy against those guys. Guess I could demonstrate that real quick. If you look at Turang, he hits the ball hard, I guess, but doesn't hit home runs. The barrel rate is below average. And so when you have a guy like Leahy that doesn't get a lot of strikeouts but makes a lot of contact, getting those into the ground is going to be able to get you the out, even though Turang's been really good across the board. Might be a better example against Durbin, as he doesn't strike out, so it's a lot better against him, as you don't expect him to walk, you expect him to put it in play, So you want a guy who forces those balls in play into the ground. But here we go. Leahy facing Hoskins. It's 0-1. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Swing and a miss on a sweeper outside. It's 0-2. Hoskins was hit in the hand with a pitch earlier. He had some words after that. He also has a strikeout today. He's 0-1. Here's the 0-2 pitch to Rhys Hoskins. Swing and a miss. He just whiffs at a sweeper low and away. Down goes Hoskins, and that will bring up Isaac Collins. Perfect pitch from Leahy. Tunneled it beautifully. Off of that fastball low and away. That's going to bring up Collins. Collins is 0-2 today. Does have a strikeout as well. First pitch from Leahy is low with the fastball 1-0. Collins has just 2 home runs on the year. So he's a good guy to just put it in the zone against, as Leahy gets a changeup call that was likely below the zone. 1-1. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Swing and a miss on a fastball up and away. It's 1-2. The 1-2 pitch. Fouled back, still 1-2. The 1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. Fastball right down the middle. Collins swung right under it. Down goes Collins. 2 outs, nobody on, and that'll bring up Bryce Turang. It's been a great outing so far for Leahy, protecting this 3-run lead. First pitch to Turang is low. It's 1-0. Bryce Turang is 1-2. Does also have a strikeout in the game. The 1-0 pitch, outside 2-0. Did score a run after a single last inning. 2 outs, nobody on. The 2-0 pitch from Leahy. Missed downstairs, 3-0. .30 pitch, just missed outside, and that's a 4-pitch walk of Bryce Turang. This might be okay, as Leahy might have a better matchup against Durbin either way. But this will definitely be the last inning for Leahy, unless he convinces Marmol otherwise. As a 4-pitch walk is a bad sign. Here is the pitch to Durbin. In there for a strike with the fastball, 0-1. Durbin is 0-1. Does have a walk and a run scored today. The 0-1 pitch. Up and in. He actually pulls that one out to left field for a base hit. So all of the theoretical soft contact did not show up right there. Durbin was able to pull on that one that was in on the hands. And there are 2 on with 2 outs now for Joey Ortiz. Just a slider inside. It was not in the zone, but moved back just enough onto the barrel that Durbin was able to drive it to left. So the tying run is Joey Ortiz at the plate. You don't expect him to actually do it, but here's the first pitch from Leahy. 92 up and in, gets the strike call. It's 0-1. Ortiz only has 2 home runs on the year. Cardinals playing him to pull. The 0-1 pitch. Right down the middle, driven high in the air to left center. Way back and caught right at the track by Victor Scott. What a great play by Scott. And we go to the 7th. It is 7-4. Ortiz thought he had one there. I didn't know for sure, but Scott knew he had it. And he caught the ball. So we go to the 7th. Alrighty. It'll be Arenado, Gorman, and Walker. So we'll get to see Gorman. We will also get to see Walker this inning. That's exciting. DL Hall coming in the game, the left-handed pitcher. That makes a lot of sense. He's going to try to eat up some more innings. First pitch misses outside to Arenado. It's 1-0. So a smart move to switch pitchers. Here's the 1-0 pitch now to Arenado. Low and away. He pops this one up to left field. Playable and caught by Collins. So 1 out. That'll bring up Nolan Gorman. Gorman is 1 for 2, but his hit was a 3-run blast his last time up. It was a fastball right down the middle from Quintana, and he drove that one over that center field wall. First pitch is low, 1-0. So lefty-lefty matchup here. Gorman's already homered lefty-lefty today. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Swing and a miss on a curveball low and in. 1-1. The 1-1 to Gorman is low, 2-1. Hall has a 2.31 ERA so far this year. A nice long reliever for the Brewers. The next pitch is in there with a fastball low and away at 94. It's 2-2. Next pitch, the 2-2 to Gorman. They go to the curveball outside. He takes that one. It's 3-2. Good eye from Gorman. The 3-2 pitch. Pops that one up. Foul ground, but into the seats. Still 3-2. Gorman has just 1 hit with a full count this year. But he also has a 45.8% walk rate in these situations, so not bad. Here's the 3-2 pitch. Up and in, and that's ball 4. So Gorman with another walk. One man on with one out, and that will bring up Jordan Walker. Walker is 1 for 2 with a hit to the opposite field. Also has a walk today. He's looked pretty good in recent games, and this is his first game back after an injury. Cutter missed low, it's 1-0. The 1-0 pitch to Walker is downstairs. I think he went around. Yes, he did. It's 1-1. That was a changeup well below the zone, but Walker was looking for that low fastball. Here's the 1-1 pitch to Jordan Walker. Fastball at the bottom of the zone, chopped back to the mound. Hall's going to go to second for 1, but Walker beats it out to prevent the double play. So it'll be Jordan Walker on first with 2 outs for Pedro Pajes. Pajes has 5 home runs on the year. Also had an inside-out single earlier in the game. The first pitch caught the outside corner at 95. It's 0-1. The 0-1 to Pajes is low with the changeup, 1-1. Pajes has 2 strikeouts today, but his first plate appearance was a hit. Here's the 1-1. It is in the dirt, 2-1. Two 1 pitch from Hall. He is in the dirt, 3-1. Good eye by Pajes. On deck is Victor Scott. There are 2 outs. Jordan Walker on first here in the 7th. I don't think they're going to want to try to steal, as Pajes is not a high on base leadoff hitter, so he'll pop it up. This is playable in right for Frelick. He'll drift over and make the grab, and we'll go to the bottom of the 7th. 7-4 St. Louis. Alrighty, so it's going to be the top of the order. Yep, Frelick, Churio, and Contreras. All right, so Leahy, I think he's probably done. And this is lefty, righty, righty. So you go to a right-handed pitcher. That would be a good time for Maton, as Maton has not pitched in a long while. And this is the top of the order, so you don't want to wait on him. It is the 7th, so you go to Maton here. Save Helsley for the 9th. You'd have JoJo for the middle of the lineup. but I wouldn't be surprised to see Leahy stay in the game. I think JoJo would be really effective in that 8th inning with this particular matchup. I would go to Maton right now, try to get all 3 outs, but if they stick with Leahy, that would work as well. They're going to go to JoJo Romero right now. That's interesting. I think the Rays would disagree with this, the Tigers would disagree with this, but this is the old school way to do it. JoJo Romero versus Sal Frelick. First pitch, caught the lower outside corner, but didn't get the call. It's 1-0. Sinker caught the top of the zone, 1-1. Frelick is 1 for 2, did have a double earlier today, also stole a base. After a walk, the 1-1 pitch. Swing and a miss on a slider outside, it's 1-2. Frelick's actually been better against lefties this year as far as average goes, but the OPS is lower. Just 4 extra base hits. Here's the 1-2. Top of the zone, fouled back, still 1-2. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Up and in, smoked to right field, read incredibly incorrectly by Walker. Should have been caught, instead it goes over his head. It's going to be a double. Walker completely misplayed that ball. So a runner on second with nobody out. That'll bring up Jackson Chourio. It was a hard hit ball by Frelick into the sun. Walker came in with his first step and then tried to retreat to catch it. It ended up being extra bases. So a misplay by Walker brings up Chourio with a man on second. Here's the pitch from Romero. Missed low with the changeup, 1-0. Chourio is 2 for 3 today, does have a triple and a single. Probably should have gone to Maton against the top of the order, but hopefully JoJo can settle in. Nice slider outside, 1-1. The 1-1 pitch from Romero. Missed downstairs with the changeup, 2-1. In a game where you have the lead, sometimes you just have to focus on the hitter. Continue to protect the lead in general, not every single run. Here's the 2-1 pitch. Low and away, chopped over to third. Arenado makes a barehanded play and gets Chourio by a step. What a play by Arenado for out number 1 in the 7th. Absolutely incredible. This was a slow chopper. Only a couple third basemen can get over there and make this play. Arenado's one of them. Gets down with the bare hand. Rifles it to first. Incredible play. And a good scoop from Contreras as well. So 1 out with a man on second. Here comes William Contreras. First pitch from Romero to him is inside, 1-0. The 1-0 pitch to Contreras is low, 2-0. Contreras is hitting .323 with 20 hits with runners in scoring position this year. The 2-0 pitch in there for a strike with the slider, 2-1. Has just 1 home run with runners in scoring position this year, but 23 RBIs in 62 at-bats. 2-1 pitch. Popped up, out of play, 2-2. Contreras will call time and step out. JoJo wearing a nice red glove. Here's the 2-2 pitch now to Contreras. Missed in the dirt with the slider, 3-2. Christian Yelich waits on deck. He's 0 for 3 today. The 3-2 pitch is chopped foul by Contreras. So William Contreras, pretty low strikeout rate with the full count this year. Just a 17.1 strikeout percent in these counts. Hitting .227 with a full count. Really high walk rate at 46.3%. The 3-2 pitch. And that is low for ball 4. Contreras kicks the ball, so it is dead. 2 men on with 1 out. And that's going to bring up Christian Yelich. Yelich is 0 for 3 today with 2 strikeouts. Romero's going to want a ground ball here. I bet Maton's getting ready in the bullpen. Yelich is 0 for 2 with a couple of strikeouts against Romero in his career. The first pitch is outside, 1-0. Yelich has grounded into 4 double plays on 50 chances this year. Here's the 1-0 pitch. In there for a strike, 1-1. Romero has 2 double play ground balls on 20 opportunities. So we're looking at about a 10% chance both ways. Here's the 1-1. In the dirt, 2-1. The 2-1 pitch to Yelich. He is in there for a strike with the slider, 2-2. So a huge pitch coming up here with 2 men on and 1 out in the 7th. Romero pitching to Yelich. Let's see if he can get him with this. The 2-2 pitch. Another slider, that one below the zone, driven out to left field. Scott ranges over and makes the grab in front of Burleson. And that puts runners at the corners with 2 outs. Oh, never mind. A terrible read at second base means that it's just still runners at first and second. So Romero's going to be done. It's going to be Maton coming in to face Hoskins. He's going to have to go over 1 inning in relief here to try to get it to the 9th with Helsley. So Romero gets 2 outs and allows 2 base runners. Maton's facing the bottom of the order. So let's grab Maton's numbers. For pitching run value, good whip at 1.16. Very nice ERA at 2.16. All the numbers across the board are great, except that walk rate, which is above average at 8.7%. So just got to continue to find the zone. His average fastball velocity is at 89.4 miles per hour. And yet, every predictive statistic is in his favor except for the walk rate. So he just needs to not walk the hitter. Which is pretty important against Hoskins. This is one of those key wins in the Cardinals season. They're going to need to win this game and likely the next one as well to try to bounce back, stay well above 500. And Maton's going to be trying to protect it here. Maton's pitched in 25 innings this year, a 2.16 ERA, 1.16 whip, 11.16 strikeouts per 9. That's pretty good. Here we go. Maton versus Hoskins. 2 men on, 2 outs in the 7th. First pitch. Right down the middle with the sweeper. It's 0-1. Hoskins does have a home run against Maton in his career. He's 1 for 6 with 3 strikeouts. The 0-1 pitch to Hoskins. Outside with the curveball, 1-1. Cardinals playing Hoskins to pull. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Outside, 2-1. Two-one pitch. Outside, 3-1. Missed with the sweeper again. Maton way behind on Hoskins. Hoskins is 0 for 2 today with 2 strikeouts. Was hit by a pitch earlier in the game. Gotta put it in the zone now. The 3-1 pitch to Rhys Hoskins. Top of the zone, popped up, and out of play. 3-2. So the runners are going to get a head start with this pitch. The 3-2 pitch to Hoskins. Grounded over to short. Mason Wynn with a nice stab and makes the play. We go to the 8th. The Cardinals still lead 7-4. Great job by Maton. I believe it's Victor Scott due up first. It will be Scott, Wynn, and Herrera. And I'll be right back. All right, Scott, Wynn, Herrera. Oh yeah, we didn't do the bullpen prediction. So lefty, righty, righty, with Burleson as a lefty as the 4th hitter. They're probably going to just ride with DL Hall. They're still down by 3. So that's not too tough of a prediction. Yep, DL Hall still in the game. He's thrown 17 pitches. Lefty-lefty matchup here against Victor Scott. Here is the pitch. First pitch to Scott is low with the curveball, 1-0. Second pitch to Victor Scott is a check swing. Yes, he did, 1-1. Scott had a 2-run single back in the 4th inning. 1-1 count on him here. The 1-1 pitch. Outside, 2-1. Two 1 pitches popped up by Scott into the seats, 2-2. Scott is 1 for 3 today, does have 2 RBIs that came on a single back in that 4th inning. Two pitch, missed upstairs, 3-2. Cardinals have 1 run in the 1st, 3 runs in the 4th, and 3 runs in the 5th, which put them at 7. While the Brewers put up 1 in the 4th and 3 in the 5th to stay in it, they have 4. It is 7-4 Cardinals. The 3-2 pitch is taken right down the middle for strike 3 on the cutter from DL Hall. 1 out, and that'll bring up Mason Wynn at the top of the Cardinal order. First pitch to Wynn is up and away. It's 1-0. The 1-0 pitch to Wynn is outside, 2-0 with the changeup. Two 2-0 pitch. Up and away, 3-0 now on Wynn. So Hall struggling to find the zone against Wynn. Wynn is 1 for 4. He had a single and a run scored in the 1st. The 3-0 pitch, right down the middle for a strike with the cutter, 3-1. The 3-1. Caught the bottom of the zone. It's 3-2. That's a tough call. So we'll see if Wynn can lock back in here. The 3-2 pitch from DL Hall. Up and away. He chased that one, fouled it off. 3-2. Here's another full count pitch to Wynn. Popped up, playable in right field for Frelick, and he'll make the catch. So 2 outs in the 8th, nobody on, and that'll bring up Ivan Herrera. Herrera is 1 for 3, does have a walk and a strikeout today. First pitch, grounded over to short. Tough play for Ortiz, but he's got it. And we go to the bottom of the 8th. Still 7-4, St. Louis. Good inning from DL Hall, 1-2-3. So it's going to be Collins, Turang, Durbin. That is 6, 7, 8. Maton's still going to be on the mound. He has some great stats. Doesn't have any off-speed pitches. Good breaking ball. Decent overall. Just needs to avoid the walks. Alrighty. Phil Maton versus Isaac Collins. It's funny that I never get any comments from Twitch other than bots. It is what it is. I believe the game's back. It's just got to show me. Oh, there we go. Alrighty. First pitch from Maton to Collins with nobody on and nobody out in the 8th. Missed inside with the sweeper, 1-0. Collins is 0 for 3 with 2 strikeouts and a flyout. Check swing. Yes, he did. It's 1-1. Maton trying to get through an extra inning here, trying to pass the torch over to Helsley, the 1-1 pitch. Outside with the curveball, 2-1. Here's the 2-1 pitch from Maton. Up and away, check swing, fouled off, 2-2. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Up and away, another check swing. He went around again. Strikeout of Collins. That's his 3rd strikeout of the game. 1 out, and that's going to bring up Bryce Turang with nobody on in the 8th. Cardinals lead this one 7-4, looking to close it out. First pitch to Turang. Up and away, 1-0. The 1-0 pitch to Turang is up and away again. A couple sinkers missed here. It's 2-0. Pitch to Turang. A nice sweeper right down the middle, 2-1. Maton trying to stretch out an extra inning after pitching for an out last inning. Seems capable. The 2-1 pitch. Hold for a base hit. That one gets past the outstretched glove of Gorman. So Turang on first with 1 out in the 8th. For Caleb Durbin. First pitch to Durbin. Swing and a miss on a sweeper at the top of the zone. It's 0-1. Durbin is 1 for 2. Also has a walk today. Scored a run. The 0-1 pitch to Durbin. Curveball at the top of the zone. 0-2. The 0-2 pitch now to Caleb Durbin with a man on and 1 out in the 8th. Throws the bat, fouls it off. Still 0-2. So Maton gets set once again. The 0-2 pitch to Durbin. Oh, an up and in curveball hits him in the arm. He leaned right into that one, and now there's 2 men on with 1 out. For Joey Ortiz, that's a frustrating pitch from Maton. Maton shakes his head as Durbin definitely leaned into that. Usually when a man leans into the pitch, the umpire can rule that they did and not give them the credit for the hit by pitch, but in that case, I guess, no call. So Dusty Blake is out there to talk to Maton, with Ortiz due up next. So if he's not able to get a ground ball double play here, he is going to have to face Frelick at the top of the order. So this inning just became a little bit more scary. And actually, here comes a pinch hitter for Ortiz. So it is Jake Bauers stepping in here. It's his 45th game of the year. First pitch from Maton. He is outside with the curveball, 1-0. Bauers has a .762 OPS with 5 home runs so far in the year. That is above average. Cardinals hoping for a ground ball. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Outside with the curveball, 2-0. Maton has struck out Bauers 4 times in his career. He is 1 for 6 against Maton, with 0 home runs. Cardinals playing Bauers to pull. Here's the 2-0 pitch. Up and away with the sinker, 3-0. So Maton's going to need to find the zone now with Frelick on deck. Here's the 3-0 pitch. Right down the middle, pulled foul. 3-1. So Maton settling back in. 2 men on, 1 out in the 8th. The 3-1 pitch. Pulled foul again. So we're going to have a full count now on Jake Bauers. Top of the Brewers order is on deck. Big moment in the game here with Phil Maton on the mound. Jake Bauers is 2 for 11 with a full count this year. Here is the 3-2 pitch to Bauers. Inside ball 4. No, he didn't. Base is loaded with 1 out. And that's going to bring up the top of the Brewers order, starting with Sal Frelick. So you wonder if the Cardinals want to stick with Maton. Frelick will be a left-handed hitter. Also has some speed. So the bases are loaded. Here is a timeout called by Pajes. Alrighty. So after all of that, Cardinals have the pitch comm working. Here's the first pitch to Sal Frelick from Phil Maton. In there for a strike with the sweeper. It's 0-1. Cardinals trying to hold on to a 3-run lead at 7-4, but the bases are loaded in the bottom of the 8th. They're playing Frelick to pull. The 0-1 pitch. Caught the upper outside corner with the curveball. 0-2. So Maton way ahead of Frelick, with Chourio on deck and 1 out in the 8th. Here's the 0-2 pitch from Maton. Up and away, he swings and misses at that one. He chased a pitch up and away. That's strike 3. There's 2 outs now, with the bases loaded for Chourio. Great pitch from Maton. Didn't give him anything to hit. He probably thought that one was going to tail back into the zone, but it stayed up and away. So here comes Chourio. He has a home run earlier in the series. He's hitting .450 in his career with the bases loaded, but he's 2 for 8 this season. Swing and a miss on a curveball outside. It's 0-1. Chourio is 2 for 4 today, does have an RBI and a run scored. Cardinals playing him to pull. The 0-1 pitch from Maton is outside, 1-1. Chourio is a career 1 for 2 against Phil Maton. So a lot of 500s coming into play here. Could be a coin flip either way in this at-bat. The 1-1 pitch is outside, 2-1. Maton has thrown 31 pitches in the game. Very long inning. After recording an out in the 7th as well. Here's the 2-1 pitch now to Chourio. Finds the outside corner with the cutter. 2-2. Chourio does have a strikeout today. He is hitting just .190 with runners in scoring position and 2 outs this year. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Swing and a miss on a curveball outside. Down goes Chourio. Maton strands the bases loaded. Gets through an inning and a third with no damage. We go to the 9th at 7-4 Cardinals. Nice job by Maton. So, who is due up? Looks like it'll be Burleson. Burleson, Contreras, Arenado. All right. So Alec Burleson coming up. Guess I missed a couple of pitches. They did bring in Zestrizny, which I expected eventually. Burleson pulled it foul. It's 0-2. The 0-2 pitch to Burleson is up and in. Fouled back. Still 0-2. Helsley's going to be getting ready for the Cardinals as Burleson takes a ball above the zone, 1-2. Burleson has 2 singles today. One of them was an RBI single in the first. Here's the 1-2. Goes out and drives this sweeper to right field, but it's playable for Frelick, and he'll make the grab. So 1 out. That's going to bring up Wilson Contreras. Contreras is 0 for 3 today with a couple of strikeouts. Did score a run after a hit by pitch in the 5th. Here's the first pitch. Catches the outside corner with the cutter. It's 0-1. Contreras letting the ump know that his brother framed that pitch because that was definitely not a strike. Here's the 0-1 pitch to Wilson. Outside part of the plate with the cutter, driven into right center. High in the air, and gone. A home run for Wilson Contreras. Everybody in the Cardinals lineup has a hit today, and Contreras takes the save situation out of the game here in the 9th inning. A solo bomb to right center field, his 9th home run of the year, 397 feet, 102 miles an hour off the bat. Cardinals lead 8-4. Just took a low and outside fastball right where you want to do it as a right-handed hitter and stares down that Brewers dugout as he makes his way around. Here's the next pitch to Arenado. Fouled off his foot, 0-1. The 0-1 pitch to Arenado is in the dirt, 1-1. Contreras saying let's go into the camera. Zestrizny ready for that 10th pitch, the 1-1. Swing and a miss on a splitter. Away, it's 1-2. Arenado has a single and a walk in the game. A couple of runs scored. Here's the 1-2 pitch from Zestrizny. Ground ball right-hand side. Tough play, but Hoskins makes the play, and they get Arenado by a step. So 2 outs. And that will bring up Nolan Gorman, who has a 3-run bomb today. He is 1 for 2 with a couple of walks. First pitch, lefty-lefty to Gorman. Swing and a miss on a cutter at the bottom of the zone. 0-1. Today you kind of get to see what the lineup can do when everyone is rolling. Even without Donovan and Newt Barr, as Gorman chases a cutter outside, it's 0-2. On games where Herrera catches, you could have all of these guys hitting and have Pajes on the bench with Herrera playing catcher and a guy like Nootbaar or Donovan in the game. As Yastrzemski misses outside, it's 1-2. I guess Yastrzemski is his name. 2 outs, nobody on. 1-2 pitch to Gorman with a 4-run lead in the 9th. The 1-2 pitch is upstairs 2-2. Gorman has 2 runs scored, 2 walks today, a 3-run home run, 3 RBIs. Cardinals lead 8-4 in the 9th. Here's the 2-2. Ground ball. That's fair. And he will be tagged out. So that was a really strange one. He poked it right into the ground. William Contreras picked it up. And we go to the bottom of the 9th. The Cardinals lead 8-4 after a right center field home run by Wilson Contreras. So now let's just grab Helsley's stats because he's definitely coming in the game. I mean, Helsley has not been perfect this year. It's been a little bit of a strange year for him. 0 pitching run value, 1.54 whip with a 3.75 ERA. It's just average pitching at best, but strikeout rate's good. The walk rate is pretty high. Hard hit rate is very high. Same thing with the average exit velo. So if he's not striking you out, he's giving up hard contact, which isn't great. Hopefully you can get more of those on the ground. But here we go. Right, here comes Ryan Helsley with a 4-run lead. Not even a save situation, just trying to get some outs in the 9th. He's thrown 24 innings this year. First pitch to William Contreras, misses upstairs. It's 1-0. In this 9th inning, what you have to do is throw strikes. First and foremost, you cannot walk anybody. Gotta just attack the zone. You have a 4-run lead. As a fastball goes up and in, gets smoked high in the air to left field. And that is a long home run for William Contreras. So now it's kind of a save situation. It's 8-5. I don't think by rule Helsley can get that save, though. Contreras hit a 389 to left field there. It was just a fastball up and in. He turned on it, got his barrel on it, and it's a 3-run game. So that will bring up Christian Yelich. That was the first hit of the day for William Contreras. Helsley's first pitch to Yelich. He is in there for a strike at 101 miles an hour. 0-1. Yelich is a career 2 for 7 against Helsley, as he takes the 0-1 pitch low with the slider 1-1. Does have a home run, but that doesn't really matter. Just matters that Helsley can continue to find the zone. The 1-1 pitch. Swing and a miss on a slider below the zone, 1-2. So Helsley ahead in the count. The 1-2 pitch. Fastball low and away at 102, fouled off, still 1-2. The 1-2 pitch, chopped foul, still 1-2. Yelich is 0 for 4 today, has 2 strikeouts, a flyout, and a lineout. Helsley still looking for the first out of the 9th inning with a 3-run lead. Here's the 1-2. Swing and a miss on a slider below the zone. Down goes Yelich. And that will bring up Rhys Hoskins. First pitch to Hoskins is low with the slider 1-0. Here's the 1-0. Up and in, swing and a miss at 101, 1-1. Hoskins is a career 1 for 6 against Helsley, has 3 strikeouts against Helsley. Also has 2 strikeouts today. Here's the 1-1. 99 right down the middle, fouled back, 1-2. The 1-2 pitch to Hoskins. He's a slider low and away, chopped over to second base. Gorman makes the play, and there are 2 down in the 9th. The Brewers' last hope will be Isaac Collins. Collins is a career 2 for 2 against Helsley, but he's 0 for 4 today. First pitch smoked into right field, so Collins moves himself to a career 3 for 3 against Ryan Helsley. That's a frightening stat for the future. 1 man on with 2 outs, and that's going to bring up Bryce Turang, who is 2 for 3 today. Game is not quite over yet. Turang also has a walk and a strikeout today. First pitch to Turang in the 9th. Up and away, fouled off, 0-1. Collins was trying to take the base. Turang is a career 0 for 4 with a strikeout against Helsley. The 0-1 pitch. He is 102 above the zone, 1-1. The 1-1 pitch to Turang is inside, but gets the call with the slider, 1-2. The Brewers down to their final strike in the 9th inning. Here's the 1-2 pitch to Bryce Turang. Strike 3 right down the middle. Helsley rings Turang's bell. And that is it for the game today. A 3-run homer by Nolan Gorman is the difference. Cardinals win it 8-5. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you guys very soon.